We're going to start with the Jin Shin Jyutsu Hug. So make yourself real nice and comfortable sitting or lying on your back with your spine real straight. I'm going to sit today because I want to do the neck exercises again, and I think they're easier to do when we're sitting, but you can do them lying down, so that's no big deal. So close your eyes if that's your practice, which I always like to have my eyes closed because I become a little more internal when I do. And if you want to start on the exhalation, start on the exhalation. If you want to count, count. If you don't want to count, don't want to count. And we're just going to bring ourselves into our breath and our quietness. And take a little notice of our body. Maybe move or adjust if we need to. And bring ourselves into the practice. I find when I really get settled in, my breath slows down significantly. And the times that I've tried counting it, normally I'm breathing 6 or 7 times a minute. So the Jin Shin Jyutsu Hug normally works out to about 5 minutes. In the actual serious practice of Jin Shin Jyutsu, it's a 36 breath hug. For those of you who may have only been here once or twice before, a reminder, this safety energy lock or this hold is number 26. Its meaning is that which was, is, and will be. And its mantra is, I know complete peace. And if you want to limber up your neck and shoulders a little bit, you can drop your chin to your chest, maybe on an exhalation. Bring your nose to the ceiling. Chin to chest. Inhale, nose to ceiling. Chin to chest. And back to center. Right ear over right shoulder. Left ear to left shoulder. right to right, left to left, right to right, left to left. And back to center. Just twist your head as though it was a petal on a stalk to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, and back to center. Now let go of the hug and walk your right hand out a little bit and bring your left arm over for a stretch. And then your left arm out a little bit, and right arm over for a stretch. Come back to center. Take your left hand over your right knee and your right hand right in back of your tailbone and twist from your hips. Maybe looking over your right shoulder. And breathing. Back to center. Other side, right hand over left knee, left hand at your tailbone. Twist from the hips, feeling that twist come all the way up through your waist, up through your spine. Your shoulders are parallel, the same level. And if you want to look over your left shoulder, turn your head. And back to center. We're going to come up to standing and move up any way that is comfortable for you. I like to just sort of do it very carefully, bringing my knees together since they're crossed and maybe moving onto my side. Chris often likes to come up all in one swoop. However you want to get up. And I'm going to change this so that you can see my upper half, because my lower half isn't doing anything very interesting, at least not at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on our spine and our hips a little bit. So we're going to take our hands and we're going to hold our wrists like this on either side. And about halfway through, I'm going to tell you to switch. So the goal is just touching the sides of your wrist. If this isn't comfortable, the way I'm going to do it, which is to take my arms above my head, just hold your wrists in front of you or wherever you want. And I'm going to take my arms above my head and I'm going to do that side stretch, holding my wrists. And then I'm going to stretch the other way, holding my wrists. And then I'm going to come back to center. And I'm going to do a little bit of a back bend, but I'm going to imagine that I'm absolutely plastered against a wall from my waist down to my feet, so that I'm not starting the back bend below my waist. I'm starting it in my mid back. And back to center. And then you're just going to come forward to a flat back. And up to center. And switch the wrists, the clasp of the wrists. We're going to do exactly this again. Side stretch. Other side, don't forget to breathe. Back to center. Back bend. Maybe look up to your hands. Back to center. Forward fold. Just to where you're at a 90-degree angle, your back is flat. And breathe. And back to center. Now you're going to do one more round of 2 side bends, 1 back bend, and 1 forward bend. And I'm going to tell you what you're doing with the Jin Shin Jyutsu holds. And you can choose which side you want to hold on. One side was probably more comfortable than the other. So you can choose whether you're going for comfort or you're going for challenge. And what you're working on with this hold is Safety Energy Lock 17. Go ahead and start to do it again, moving first to one side and holding there and breathing. Coming back to center, and then when you're ready, moving towards the other side. And Safety Energy Lock 17 is relaxation of mind and nerves. If you haven't already started your back bend, start now. The mantra is I follow my intuition. It's good for cardiovascular problems, nervousness, supports brain and chest and respiration. It fosters intuition. Now, if you haven't started the forward bend yet, start now with the flat back. And then just round your back and let yourself fall with your arms maybe floating or moving back or forth, or you might want to hold on to your elbows, but get some movement in your spine. Bend your knees a little maybe. Nod your head a little maybe, yes. Shake it, no. And then bend your knees and bring yourself back down to your mat. And we're going to move into a child's pose. So you can do this child's pose however you want. You can do it wide leg. Whoops, you can't see me anymore, can you? You can do it forward with your legs wide or your legs together. Or if you're more comfortable, you can do it on your back. So this would be wide legged. This would be legs together. And then you can do it on your back. like this, or however is comfortable for you. The Jin Shin Jyutsu hold is going to be, let me tell you right here, safety energy lock 2, and your hands are right on your back. So if you're doing it forward, your hands would be right here. Wide leg forward, right here. If you're doing it on your back, your hands would be under your back. Everybody got that? As you always do when you move into a pose, first scan your body to make sure that you're comfortable and that you can hold this for a while. And if you're not comfortable, are props going to help you, or is changing the position going to help you? Figure out whatever helps you to get comfortable and do that. I always take like the first minute of the pose to really get comfortable in it. And then I start to work with my breath, to work with the flow of my breath, to relax my body more. If you're on your back and you don't like having your legs tucked into your chest, do anything you want with your legs. You can extend them, you can have feet on the floor with your knees bent, anything you want. Your hands are on either side of your back, right above the waist or around the waist. So this is safety energy lock 2. And this is life force for all, wisdom throughout. It's living my wisdom. Jumper cabling cell number 2 helps us to discard entrenched opinions and return to our original wisdom without prejudice. It's the symbol of discrimination, not in the sense of discriminating against someone, but choosing the right thing, and free will. Instead of wishing to change the other, holding cell number 2 helps us change our own viewpoint. Check your breath. We're about halfway through here. If you need to do anything to make yourself more comfortable, do it. Physically, holding cell 2 reinforces the structural support of the body, the spine, the back, the neck. It's good for any disc problems, any spine problems. Fosters good posture, good for osteoporosis, and difficulty breathing. When your spine isn't straight, when your back isn't healthy, your lungs are collapsing also. Mentally and emotionally, it's good for exhaustion, mental tension, doubt, uncertainty, competitiveness. You have 1 more minute. Come out of that. Come back up to sitting. If you're not comfortable sitting in a cross-legged position or maybe a butterfly position, if you're not comfortable like this, sit in a chair. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a spleen flow. And we're going to, let me make sure I get this right. Okay. We're going to touch the inside of the ankle, of an ankle, with the opposite hand. And the same side hand of the bent leg is going to be at your coccyx. And your coccyx is your tailbone. So you don't have to be sitting on it. It can just be here. Okay? So we're looking for a position that makes you happy doing this. On your back, what might make you happy doing this is lying down and bringing your ankle over your knee, putting it there, and just touching your coccyx here. I don't find that particularly comfortable. So I usually always do this sitting up, and it can be as simple as you want. It can be just like this, or you can do bring it up on top of the knee, and you can do a forward bend with it if you want more of a stretch, more of a challenge. So figure out what you want to do. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do it sitting in a chair? Or do you want to do this for more of a challenge? Or if it's not uncomfortable for you to do it on your back, do it on your back. We're going to do 3 minutes on each side. And I'll tell you when to switch. So this is jumper cabling, spleen function energy. The mantra is, I am centered. The characteristics are that it forms and sustains the spleen and pancreas. It transforms nutritional energy into body energy, calms the nervous system, and enables us to feel empathy and sympathy. You have 1 more minute on this side. start to move carefully out of this side. If you're in a forward bend, come up slowly. Maybe wag your legs or move them back and forth a little bit. Do whatever you need to loosen up. Maybe arch your back, whatever you need to do before you switch sides. And then when you're ready, you may want to switch sides with your props as well as your legs. So I'm gonna do ankle over knee, but this side needs another bigger prop under my knee. And then I'm gonna set in my breath and I'm gonna move into the forward bend with my opposite side hand on my ankle and my same side hand on my tailbone. You have 1 more minute on this side. Come back on up out of that, and we're going to do the other half of the spleen flow. So you can do this again on your back or sitting up. If you're sitting up, you might want to do, let me show you where the Jin Shin Jyutsu points are. Your right hand is on right below your breastbone on the opposite side, so the left side, and your same side hand is above the breastbone. So your hands are just below and above, okay? So if you want to sit up and do a forward bend, you can just come forward like this. I should be sitting up on a cushion and I'm not, and you might want a prop for under your head. If you want to be on your back, you can do it with your legs against the wall, or you can do it with your legs up against a table, like I would be doing right here. Or you could do it with them straight up in the air if you want. So opposite side hand on below the breastbone, same side hand above the breastbone. We're going to do 3 minutes on each side and get yourself settled in for how you think you're going to do it, and then set up the breath. And I'm going to do it dragonfly with my legs spread, and I'm just going to come forward here into a forward bend. You have 30 seconds more on this side. If you're in a forward bend, you might want to come back up out of it to switch sides of your hands. If your leg's up against the wall or on a table, just switch your hands. You don't have to do anything to your legs unless you want to. So, possible applications of the spleen function energy flow. Mentally and emotionally, it brings enthusiasm into life. Helps with lack of concentration. Physically, it's good for the thyroid. Stores iron in the blood. Has a strengthening effect during chemotherapy. It's good for digestive problems, eating disorders, and intolerance to certain foods. You have 1 more minute here. Move up, back out of this, and get in a position where you can actually see me. And we're going to talk briefly about twists, because there's lots of different ways to do twists. And I do them 3 different ways depending on what I want to do, where I want to twist, where I want to feel it in my back. I'm going to show you all 3. I'm going to offer you the choice of only 2 of them, because the first one I'm going to show you doesn't really work with the Jin Shin Jyutsu hold. But the first one, it works way down on your lower back here, for me. Now, I want you to try all 3 to see what works for you and what feels good for you, where you feel like you need it. But with the first one, what I do is I drop, just take one knee over the other knee. I'm lying down on my back. I have my arms out in either straight out or down a little closer to my side. And then I just roll over on the outside of my bottom foot and drop my knees. And I have a big old prop there. So this I'm feeling really, really, really below my waist at my tailbone. The second way I do it is I bring my knees into my chest. I'm starting from lying on my back, both of these. I bring my knees into my chest. Again, my arms are out at the side or slightly lowered. And I roll over onto my left hip, or the bottom hip, propping my legs, propping my back shoulder if I need to. And I feel this above my waist, right above, at my waist and above my waist. The third place I can do a twist is starting with my knees on the ground and both hands close to each other. And then taking the top hand and kind of rolling my chest open and bringing the arm out. And I feel that between my shoulder blades. So depending on where you need the twist, don't do the first one with the knee draped over, because your Jin Shin Jyutsu point is the inside of the bottom knee. So you're just going to take your hand and have it there. And we're going to hold the twist, whichever one you're doing, for 3 minutes. Now give yourself a couple minutes now, a minute or two here now, to decide what twist you're going to do. And if you do, the mid-back twist, say on one side, do it on the other side too. Again, when you get into your twist, figure out what props you need, figure out how high or low your knees might want to be, how wide your arms might want to be. Figure out the most comfortable possible position for the twist. Prop yourself if you need to, then set up that breath, and we're going to hold it for 3 minutes. If you're not into it yet, don't worry about it. I haven't started counting yet either. Okay, I'm starting to time the first side 3 minutes now.
Alison, can you say where the hand is supposed to be again?
The hand is on the inside of the bottom knee. So if I'm twisted over like this, my bottom hand is going to be on the inside of my bottom knee. And I can actually do anything I want with my top arm, but I like to open up so I get that stretch in my shoulders and the stretch in my chest. And if I stick my arm out, I get more of a stretch than if I have it like maybe resting on my ribs or something. But that's your choice. So this is safety energy lock 1. And the meaning, it says here, is it's the prime mover. It connects extreme heights with extreme depths. And the mantra, it says, is I am in harmony with the universe. As the prime mover, it carries the power of unity into our being and allows life energy to descend in the front of the body. It therefore supports exhaling and clears the head. It sets us in motion when we're mentally or spiritually stuck or stalled in any given situation. It brings stability and strengthens self-confidence, as well as our basic sense of trust. So you've got 30 more seconds here. And then you're going to switch to the other side. And when we switch to the other side, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to adjust into that side because it could be really different. You may need different props, different position. 30 seconds are up, move to the other side. Physically, holding cell 1 is good for headache, toothache, breathing problems, asthma, knee pain, brings movement into any stagnation of energy. Mentally, it strengthens self-confidence, basic sense of trust and empathy. It calms nerves and relieves stress. You have 1 more minute here. Okay, let go of that and come into a position where you can see me. And I'm going to show you the next pose, which is going to be either a bridge pose or we're arching our backs in some ways. So it's either going to be through a bridge pose or through rolling up a towel or a blanket and setting it, I don't have one here, setting it under your spine and narrow so that it's kind of right under your spine, going from your tailbone all the way up to your head. If it's not long enough for your head to balance on, bring a cushion and put that under your head. If you're not doing the rolled spine thing, you're going to do a bridge. And I don't have a block here either, but I have a fairly fat book. So we're going to hold this for 5 minutes. And that's a really long time to just hold a bridge. So I'm going to have my prop close to me. And I'm going to move myself onto my back, bending my knees. My feet are below my knees. My arms are by my side. And I actually like to hold on to the edges of my mat when I get myself up here. So I'm going to push my knees towards the opposite wall and push the mat away a little bit. So I get a nice arch here in my back. Then maybe I put my hands up. I do whatever I want with my hands, arms. I can put them overhead. No, I can't because I'm doing, sorry, I'm doing the Jin Shin Jyutsu hold right here on top of my chest on both sides. Is that correct? I think it is. Hang on. Let me make sure I have the Jin Shin Jyutsu hold right. Yes. right here under my collarbones here, on my collarbones actually. So I'm either up here on a bridge, or I can do a supported bridge. My butt is on a block like this, which doesn't put as much tension in my legs. Or I could do a supported bridge with my legs up. Or I could do all three, which is what I like to do. I like to start 1 minute in a regular bridge, then do a minute or two in a supported bridge, and then pick my legs up. So do whatever you want. I'm going to start the count in like 10 or 15 seconds, so you can get yourself into whatever pose you want. And again, the Jin Shin Jyutsu part is right on top of your collarbones on either side of your chest. When you've gotten yourself organized so that you can relax in that pose, slow your breath down. Let any tension go from your face or your shoulders. And just start that long, slow breathing. We're working on Safety Energy Lock 22 now. The meaning is complete gathering and dispersal. The mantra is, I'm happy wherever I am. When cell 22 is open, we're capable of letting everything flow through us without getting attached to it. We can embrace everything that comes our way and let go of it again. It helps us adapt to situations we cannot change and be happy in the process. It also helps us adapt to ambient, unpleasant situations like smoke in the air, environmental pollution, a high pollen count, relieves tightness in the throat and chest, and harmonizes fear and panic. Physically, it regulates calcium levels in the blood, high blood pressure, and hyperactivity. Mentally, it fosters spiritual and physical harmony, fears, and panic. If you're in a bridge and you want to change that, or you want to get out of it, go ahead. You can also switch sides with your hands so that your hands are crossed rather than on just both sides. We're actually a little over halfway through. Do whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable. If you just want to come down and lie on your back and continue with jumper cabling cell 22, that's fine too. You have 1 more minute. Let go of that. Come down flat on your back. If you're in bridge, take out the prop behind your spine if you've been doing this lying down. And we're going to go into relaxation pose, which is the pose where we're on our backs, our knees are bent, our feet are on the outside edges of the mat, and our knees are propping each other up. And we're going to do the fourth depth, which is the ring finger. So hold whichever ring finger you want, and I'll tell you when we're halfway through and you can switch ring fingers. And just relax, just let your belly go, let your shoulders soften, let your jaw soften, just let everything relax. Just lie there holding that finger. I'm sorry, it's not the ring finger. I'm so sorry. It's the index finger. So the fourth depth is correlated with all the potential we bring into life, all that we've inherited from our ancestors. Here, the forces of destiny operate, helping us time and again to live up to our potential and harmonize our lifestyle. The fourth depth is the fourth deepest layer of the body, so it's the muscles. And jumper cabling, the fourth depth, connects us to our inner wisdom. Mentally and emotionally, the fourth depth is good for jumper cabling. It is good for fear, uncertainty, guilt, bitterness. Switch sides. And physically, it's good for problems with the kidneys, bladder, back pain, weak legs, arthritis. And ears and teeth. Let go of that now and prepare to move into Shavasana, doing anything you want to make yourself comfortable. If you want a blanket, if you want to put on socks, if you want an eye pillow, anything, a pillow under your head. You can do the traditional on your back Shavasana. You can do legs up against the wall. You can do a fetal position on your side. Anything, any position at all that makes you perfectly relaxed and happy. And when you get there, allow your body to soften completely, to let go of any tension anywhere. Maybe do a scan, starting with your feet or your head. Just let go. Let go of your breath. Let it be soft and natural. Any thoughts come into your head, just let them go. So gradually start to notice your environment. Notice any sounds in your environment. Maybe sounds from outdoors, maybe a clicking clock, maybe somebody in the next room, maybe a rustling, any sounds. And then notice what you feel. Maybe a breeze, maybe warm some places, cool others. And as you start to move your fingers and toes, notice how that feels. Very gradually, start to move yourself up into a sitting position. See if you can capture any scents, tastes. Move up with your eyes closed if that's comfortable for you. When you get to sitting, move into any comfortable position. Your hands can be in front of your heart in prayer. They can be on your knees. One hand can be resting on the other. And let your eyelids flicker open. And look around you. Notice the colors, the textures. Maybe notice something you don't usually notice when you look around you. And then bring your hands in front of your heart in a prayer position. And we'll chant an Om. Namaste.